we all have friends that found themselves in various predicaments throughout our life. And you can look at somebody, and even if you take issue with their choices and what they've done, you can still sit up there and look at them and say they're a friend.
Stephen A., he didn't stand with Shannon Sharpe like he stood with Jay-Z. When he heard about Jay-Z, he said, the guy I know, this is not true. When it came to Shannon, he was like, I wasn't there.
My date your age. Well, I want to date my wage. I'm finna shut all this ish down tonight.
The whole thing with Shannon Sharpe is actually crazy, because how are you even entertaining the conversation after put a big black baby in me? Put a big black baby in me? It's honestly giving that you just have like some sort of racist fetish. Like, you know how when people get with different races and they just play, you know, slave and owner. That's what it's giving when I was reading those text messages. Because what you mean 25,000 a cheek?
Shannon Sharpe is no longer performing. According to reports, he is permanently done with Stephen A. Smith. Nothing more, no more texts, no more calls. It turns out that after Stephen continued to talk endlessly about Shannon's complicated lawsuit situation, Shannon abruptly stopped him. Let us take a moment to go back. Stephen A. wasted little time in making disparaging remarks when Shannon's legal issues were initially reported. Not in a slick manner either. He pretended that Shannon's career was already finished before the dust had even cleared, while he was out here delivering subliminal messages. People also noticed right away. For example, why is Stephen using the past tense when discussing Shannon while the man is still on the air? Many eyebrows were raised by that, but after a few days, everything happened. Stephen A. abruptly changes the course of events by asserting that he now thinks Shannon is innocent. Huh? Fans do not believe it. Shannon is not either, based on what is emerging behind the scenes. According to sources, he is no longer even glancing in Stephen's direction. Every call and text is ignored by men, blatantly abandoned him. Celebrities are also contributing.
You ain't gonna see me excoriating him. You ain't gonna see me disrespecting him. You're not gonna see me stripping him of my support. I can tell you what I think you right and you wrong.
When things heated up, rapper Maze got in, calling Stephen A. flip-flopper and a straight-up snake for changing things up. This is becoming more than simply media rumors. It is becoming a serious issue. So, is the relationship between Shannon and Stephen A. truly over? Fans were paying close attention to their ESPN chemistry. However, the last nail in the coffin might be this. It also gets more profound. According to reports, Shannon feels truly deceived, behind the scenes as well as on camera. According to insiders, he believed Stephen A. had his back until the case hit and he came out. It is chilly. For background, Shannon is involved in a case involving an OF model that he was briefly associated with. The drama is once again in the news, and she was 19 at the time, louder than before. The actual story twist, though, in public, Shannon is at odds with Stephen A. rather than the model. What exactly caused Stephen to lose it like way then? Was he under pressure from ESPN to protect his reputation, or had he never supported Shannon in the first place? Let us examine the true causes of this fallout.
It's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN.
Stephen A. might be out here pretending to ride for Shannon now, but don't get it twisted. He was the first to throw shade at the gate just last week.
To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take.
This individual did not wait for a press release or a statement. Before it was even official, he made a suggestion that Disney and ESPN were going to fire Shannon.
So I sit here before you today letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach because I owe them that courtesy.
That stunt could have been the last straw. Shannon's friends and family are stating that he is really tired.
I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke, co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously.
According to rumors, Shannon has been tense for some time and believes Stephen A. is a little sour about his success outside of ESPN. Club Shay Shay has been exploding. Let us face it. That interview with Cat Williams, the internet was rocked. Additionally, Stephen's mood is said to have changed while Shannon has been rising.
In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter.
Shannon is not buying into Stephen A.'s recent attempt to backtrack and appear helpful. According to sources, he is not returning calls, messages, or anything else.
All I do know is it won't be me making a decision. It'll be others upstairs. In the end, all of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in.
He is finished. And according to those close to him, this time is genuine. For background, one of the first persons to remark on this lawsuit fiasco was Stephen A., who went on television to express sympathy for Shannon.
This 3-time Super Bowl champion and this Hall of Famer, who emphatically stated to me over the phone how innocent he is of these allegations that have been levied against him.
However, people quickly grasped what he was saying. He seemed to be discussing Shannon's career in the past tense already, as if it were finished.
Insisting repeatedly that anything you read, anything you see, anything you hear was fully and totally consensual. In the same breath, what's inescapable is that without us knowing all the merits, he was working with Disney, where I've worked since 2003, excluding my departure from 2009 to 2011, when I was gone for those 2 years. Outside of that, I've been at Disney since October of 2003.
It did not end there either. Stephen was eager to bring up Shannon's retirement from ESPN on his broadcast as soon as it was announced. He continued by saying that Disney has a stringent image policy and that once you are called a problem, it is done. Fans are now questioning whether Stephen A. was ever truly a buddy, or did he simply wait for Shannon to make a mistake so he could regain the spotlight? In addition to making disparaging remarks, Stephen A. practically dragged Shannon, claiming that Shannon believed he was untouchable. He was out here making fun of him for being careless for his age. Furthermore, Stephen A. took advantage of the occasion to boast that he is too intelligent to become involved in such a mess. Hold on though, because this is where things get crazy. After fans and even celebs like Mace started calling him out for being fake and tossing Shannon under the bus, Stephen A. hit a full 180. All of a sudden, he is out here defending Shannon, saying that he always thought he was innocent. People are not stupid, so hurry up. They drew attention to how quickly Stephen A. stepped in to defend Jay-Z. When one of Diddy's accusers made those grave charges, he jumped on camera and defended Jay as quickly as if his reputation depended on it. However, that same intensity vanished when Shannon's predicament made headlines.
What I saw really was the interview with Stephen A. when he was speaking of it. And I was watching it very carefully, Killer.
Stephen A. said something about this already?
Yeah, because Stephen A., he didn't stand with Shannon Sharpe like he stood with Jay-Z. When he heard about Jay-Z, he said, the guy I know, this is not true. When it came to Shannon, he was like, I wasn't there.
Yo,
On his show, he discussed how it was crazy that Stephen A. was also unaware of all the specifics of Jay-Z's case. However, he defended him without hesitation. But crickets for Shannon.
In a nutshell, yeah.
I gotta keep it static, you know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't there for Jay-Z neither. You wasn't there for Jay-Z. You were not there for Jay-Z, but you went out on a limb because of the character of guy you know. So I'm not saying that you're wrong for that. I'm saying I would have thought that the same standard would be there, right? For a guy you work with every day.
Now here's where it gets wild. Soon as Mace's clip started blowing up, Stephen A. switched lanes again. Out the blue, he acting like he'd been riding for Shannon this whole time. Now he out here pointing fingers at everybody else like they the ones who flipped on Shannon. The nerve is wild. Stephen A. pulled up on Big Boy's show trying to do damage control. Again, this round, he talking like Shannon getting set up. Even threw some shade saying folks been salty since Shannon's podcast took off, especially after that Cat Williams episode broke the internet. But fans, they ain't ain't buying none of that. Not from him. Stephen A. talking loyalty and snakes, and it's hilarious, cause ain't nobody switched harder than him. One day he sneak dissing, next day he flag waving like he was Team Shannon from day one. Now people calling him all the way out, saying the only reason he jumped into Shannon's defense is cause Mace aired him out for switching sides. Let's not act brand new. Stephen was the first one to post a whole video about Shannon, even before Shannon himself dropped the ESPN news. That ain't loyalty, that's riding the fence. One fan said it best, Stephen A, halfway in, halfway out. That ain't solid. And Shannon's whole situation, it's messy as hell, borderline sinister. The case itself got folks shook, but what's really catching heat is Stephen acting like he'd been solid from the jump when he clearly wasn't. Another fan said it straight. The same fire he had when he was defending Jay-Z, gone. With Shannon, it's like he already knew dude was getting the boot. That's what's rubbing people the wrong way. It's that two-face vibe. And let's keep it a buck. Even if parts of Shannon's lawsuit look shaky, folks say he don't need Stephen riding for him now. He a grown man, 54 years old, caught up messing with a 19-year-old, getting tangled in some real shady business behind closed doors. That's the kind of mess that tells on itself. So yeah, fans ain't rocking with Stephen's last-minute outrage. It's given PR cleanup, not real support. Right now, a whole lot of folks think Shannon might not be the victim at all. And just when you thought it couldn't get more chaotic, more women popping up. And now it's looking like this ain't no one-time thing. This might have been going on for a long time. The U.S. Sun dropped a bomb. Shannon's ex, Michelle Evans, hit him with a whole separate lawsuit, and the accusations? Serious. She's saying Shannon was on some real foul behavior going all the way back to 2010. The case, filed in late 2023, is heavy. Evans claims they dated nearly a decade, but things went real dark in September 2010 after she called him out for cheating. That's when, she says, everything blew up. Evans says Shannon threatened to ruin her if she ever told anybody. Then it allegedly turned physical in a way that left her scared and stuck. She says he forced her into doing things she clearly didn't want, and even as she protested, he wouldn't stop. In the legal docs, she says fear froze her, scared that resisting might make things worse. She also claims he got more aggressive, eventually forcing himself on her. During the assault, she says he said some cold, nasty stuff, talking about how he was going breaker so no other man would want her. The whole thing is disturbing, and now it's just another layer on top of Shannon's legal drama. People who used to stand behind him, they've fallen back, saying this ain't no isolated incident, it's a pattern. The internet's on fire and everybody want answers. Is Michelle Evans just one voice, or is she just the start of a whole truth unraveling? Evans didn't just file and disappear, she said things got worse after that. Shannon, she says, threatened her into silence, told her he'd use every connection he had to ruin her. That's when she filed for a restraining order, back when he was still with CBS Sports. In those papers, Evans said Shannon kept blowing up her phone with threats, saying he had eyes on her, and even told her he was watching her at that exact moment. This wasn't no one-time scare, it was constant. She said she legit feared for her life. Right after the story broke and she filed, Shannon suddenly announced he was stepping away from his CBS gig. But instead of falling out, everything got swept under the rug. No headlines, no exposés, his career just kept going.
Now Evans is back, this time with a defamation suit. She's saying Shannon brought their past up on TV and in interviews, dragging her name through the mud and crushing her emotionally. She claims he did it intentionally to shut her up and twist the story. She's standing behind the OnlyFans model who's suing Shannon now. Evans say Shannon exposed Gabriella's whole name and account online just to make her look bad and intimidate her. Speaking to the U.S. Sun, Evans said straight up, what Shannon did to that woman, exposing her name and OnlyFans. That was terrifying. Things gon' happen to her cause of that. Now fans ain't got no more defense for him. They connecting dots saying this ain't isolated. This is a whole pattern unfolding. Even ex-NFL baller and ESPN head Ryan Clark ain't hold back.
Right, and once you reached a certain stature, it's like the old folks always used to tell you, boy, don't let that money go to your head, right? And now, a lot of times, people just are who they are. And you're looking at Shannon, his brand has never really been anything that said he might not be into some of the things that we're learning.
He said Shannon's alleged behavior actually lines up with the image he's been putting out for years.
Right, you could go back to the IG Live, or you could listen to some of the things that he promotes as sponsors of his show, or just certain ways he talks about women during nightcap or whatever it is, right? Like, Unc ain't never hid that.
Charleston White didn't bite his tongue either. He stepped all the way in and shut that whole Shannon was set up talk down.
It sounds like a setup, but if you sit back and look at the overall situation, you say this ain't no setup. This is a who been in the league and been amongst elite blacks and white people for most of his life. He live in a white community. He been around white people for over 30 years. Boy got a thing for white. He like young white. He really want a 17-year-old, but he can't.
To him, Shannon set himself up the second he started messing with a girl young enough to be his granddaughter.
So here it is, he at the gym working out. He's showing up at the gym with them big old black legs, that big old print showing in them sweatpants, squatting, sweating out his ass with them big old muscles. Now here it is, this little white girl over there on the treadmill. They making eye contact. Who set that up? Who put her there? Who put him there? And who knew they was gonna be attracted to each other to start?
Ain't no setup, Charleston said. That's on him.
Who set that up? Now, if you watch his interview and you sit back and listen to him and Ocho Cinco talk, and he talk about what he do and what he don't do, well, you see he a weenie with the women. He really mean the women.
And while a few folks still got Shannon's back the signs, they ain't looking good. More and more, people asking the same hard questions.
You sit back, man, I don't do this, I don't do. Nah, man, you mean the women. You ain't no Matt. You don't even know how to sweet talk women. So you see, he really a weenie to women. He just got a big old black with the big old muscle. But he's not a charming man. You see, man, he mean, authoritative, and he regimented. No, he's not appealing.
Old clips popping up again, and they painting a real ugly picture. One clip especially is making waves all over the net. It caught Shannon snapping during a podcast. It happened on the April 30th taping of the New York Times pod. He was chilling with Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson and Joe Johnson, chopping it up about the 2025 NFL draft.
Guess what the two teams that call me Ocho say, what's your phone number, where you gonna be?
Who that?
Shut the f*** up.
Everything was smooth until Shannon looked off camera and just lost it. He yelled, "Shut the F up" at somebody off screen, and the whole vibe shifted. That outburst, viral in minutes. Fans were quick to say, "This the same dude y'all say ain't got anger problems?" Now the question is, if this is how he acts with cameras rolling, what he doing when they ain't?
So the white girl just playing off the big black. He ain't handsome. He ain't the handsomest big black in the world, and he look like a gorilla. Big black gorilla, silverback. And he mean. So she figures she getting this big black, but in the process of getting this big old black, he mean. I'm gonna choke you when I see you tomorrow. Man, just.
Now with all this heat building, Shannon's silence, it's speaking volumes. No comment on the lawsuits, no clapbacks, nada.
That's all. Yeah, this is baby. So she don't want to be treated like a grown woman. She just want this big old black and let her be irresponsible. He trying to make her responsible and all that other. So now ain't nobody set that up, man. Yeah.
And from someone who made his whole career off speaking his mind, that silence got people side-eyeing. Fans, blogs, even old co-workers all asking, "Where's Shannon?" Usually he'd be on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere cracking jokes or defending his name. But now, he ghost. And that's got folks real suspicious. Media digging up every clip, every interview, every headline folks slept on. This ain't looking like one scandal. It's feeling like the crumble of a whole brand that was too good to be true. Even his diehard fans starting to jump ship. Comment sections used to be nothing but fire emojis and goat love. Now it's full of people feeling played. Some saying they backed Shannon too soon. Meanwhile, ESPN staying real quiet. No statements, no support, just silence. And that got fans wondering if the network trying to ride this out or get ready to cut ties. Right now, Shannon's whole brand, it's burning. Podcast numbers dropping, support feeling shaky, and everybody waiting to see, will Shannon finally speak up or let the silence finish him off? The whole industry got eyes on him, and real talk, can he even bounce back from all this? Behind the scenes, folks pulling back. Brands that used to love him, quietly disappearing from his socials. No explanations, just gone. People say the fallout might be way deeper than we thought. Word is, some sponsors already saying nah, especially since Michelle Evans and Gabriella Zinga's claims gained traction. Ain't nobody trying to be tied to this kind of mess. Shannon's name sounding more like controversy than clout now. Even his sports homies moving funny. The same ones who used to gas him up, quiet, a few unfollowed. Others dodging his name in interviews like it's contagious. And the podcast? Nightcap feeling the heat too. Numbers down, engagement fallen. Fans calling out Chad Ochocinco too, saying he enabling all this by staying quiet. Some want him to step off the pod till Shannon clears the air. To make it worse, critics getting louder. Old clips of Shannon's rants, speeches, and inspirational takes now being flipped on him. Folks reposting them saying, "This aged like milk," or "Where was this energy off camera?" Shannon's rep used to be untouchable. Now, it's unraveling fast. This ain't just bad press, it's a collapse. And if he don't speak soon, he might not recover at all. From Media King to scandal headline, Shannon's downfall ain't just possible, it's happening. And the industry watching it go down in real time. With all the dirt spilling chilling out since this lawsuit hit, one thing's for sure. The sympathy for Shannon Sharpe, gone. People ain't buying the whole victim act. They saying he made his bed and now he laying in it. And Stephen A. Smith, he ain't getting off easy either. Fans calling him the biggest flip-flopper in the game, changing sides, changing tone, while keeping Shannon's name in everybody's mouth. Some even think Stephen A. enjoying Shannon's mess, playing the concerned homie in public while secretly stirring the pot. Let's keep it 100 if Stephen A. really cared. He could have just shut up. He ain't have to go on a whole rant on his show talking about Disney, ESPN, and all that no-tolerance talk. That wasn't helping. That was clout chasing. One fan said it best. Stephen A., that dude who tell your boss you was late so he can take your spot. Straight up snake vibes. And another fan kept it blunt. If he really wanted to help Shannon, he'd stop talking, period. This ain't helping nobody. So what y'all think? Is Stephen A. really trying to help? Or just using Shannon's fall to shine? Was Mays right when he said Steven's a fake friend with two faces? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what y'all think about this whole wild mess between Shannon and Stephen A. And don't go nowhere. The next video's coming in hot. Hit that bell. Stay tapped in. It's only getting crazier from here.